What's up, everybody? Kenny here. Too Bad About Kenny is the name of the channel, and we're continuing our journey to watch every single Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Devin and I started this thing off.
Hell yeah.
We're here with a couple more people. John, who you might recognize from the Critique podcast. He was a guest host on there, as well as Daniel, who was also a guest host on the Critique podcast. So we're going to get into A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. This is the one where they all have their dream power. Like there's a wizard, there's the punk rock girl, there's that Kincaid is a super strong one.
That's right. So it's
a wizard.
Wow. Yeah, there's like
the Avengers.
Yeah, there's a
Wait, here.
kid,
Yeah. So they all have something about them that they exploit in their dreams. So there's one character who's real strong, who really works out in the real world, but then in the dream world, he becomes like super strength. He-Man, yeah. And then there's somebody who's really into D&D. So when they go into the dream world, they become a wizard.
That's right.
So they all bring with them like a very special, unique power that's to them, and then they use that to defeat Freddy. It's kind of the premise, loosely. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun one.
Right.
Yeah, this is one that I've been looking forward to watching for a while. It's one that I've watched the most of all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So yeah, are we ready to go watch the movie?
Let's do it.
Let's go watch a movie. Through the magic of editing, the next time you see us, we'll have watched a movie.
There's no waking up from this nightmare. A Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3, Dream Warriors.
And just like that, we watched a movie, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Holy moly. Just without giving too much away, I guess, what do you all think? Daniel, we're going to start with you, who's never seen any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Was it everything that you expected?
Basically. Okay, there wasn't as much blood as I expected, I guess. Like, I guess not as many, like, kills, like, wanton bloodshed as I expected, but it was good. There were still quite a lot of dead people, but.
And John?
My re-impressions is that the set piece for the marionette, not to give too much away, but the set piece in the hospital with the character who's being puppeted by Freddy is the set piece of the movie, in my opinion. So just as I remembered it, and everything else, to me personally, felt like it savored of anticlimax.
Yeah, okay. The set piece to me was the one behind us here. I always like this one.
Yeah.
Welcome to prime time, bitch. This was my favorite one. But yeah, the marionette one was good too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of build up, a lot of suspense.
Yeah, you know, the overall, I'd say like the premise is interesting, and it didn't quite get there. That's kind of how I would put it. You know, like it was a cool premise, and it just sort of, not quite.
This movie sticks out in my head as being probably one of the more entertaining ones of the franchise. But watching it again, I got to tell you, at some point, this movie, it really starts to drag, and I really start to feel it at some point. Like, the middle of it seems really bloated, and at the very end, where they're all using their powers, which is where I thought we were going to be spending a lot of the time, it kind of went by pretty quick.
Yeah.
So we'll get there as we get there, though. We got the New Line logo back.
Yeah, we got the seizure-inducing New Line.
Yeah, the last
intro.
couple of movies, we had a real like big flashing New Line logo, which I don't remember seeing for any other movies, but for this one, they really go crazy with it. And they didn't stop here. They kept going with it. And it starts with a quote, an Edgar Allan Poe quote, "Sleep, those slices of death, how I loathe them." It just seems to be trying to make a little highbrow something or other. It didn't really seem to have an effect other than just kind of pointing out like, oh, look how kind of smart we're being with this slasher movie.
Yeah, no, we're cultured. See,
Yeah.
I read a book once.
It did feel like they were trying to do the sort of like 80s version of elevated horror in this sense, right? The idea that we're not just horror movies. We're thoughtful people, and we're making movies based on things that we've experienced, and we are noting the history of horror from the 19th century. People like Bram Stoker and Edgar Allan Poe and some of the other horror writers from that time period.
Yeah, I just felt like maybe it was more effective in the time, but watching it today, I realize it's kind of dated. That quote's interesting. It's an interesting way to start your movie. But we do start the movie proper with the construction of not the Freddy Krueger house. It's Nancy's house from the original. And I always like this opening sequence. This is another standout part of the movie to me is the building of the house. I find it such a cathartic scene. It's a lot of fun watching the montage of the house coming together with the paper mache walls and then the fence and then the boarded windows made with the popsicle sticks. I really like this. What do you think of the opening? Do you remember the opening scene?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it's fine. I get it. It's the idea of like we're doing Nancy's house and everything, but it's just like, why do we care about Nancy's house? Why?
It's because it has to have happened on Elm Street. It's the Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Yeah, but
they have to somehow draw you back to the fact that we're back on Elm Street.
I know, but it seems like, oh my God, it's Nancy's house, which means it's Freddy's house. It's like, no, it's not.
The way I interpret it.
No, you're right. I think
they got to bring you back to. It's called a Nightmare on Elm Street. It has to be.
Yes, it has to be Nancy's house. So yeah, that does make sense. I guess. You know me. I'm just like, yeah, but like it's not Freddy.
They're hardly on Elm Street in this movie.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Maybe never. Maybe not at all.
Never technically on Elm Street.
Yeah.
So it's only, like magically in the dream. You're on Elm. So the dream Elm Street is good enough.
As long as you're in a dream, then it feels like you're on Elm Street.
You're on First Street most of the time, actually. Right.
Yeah, you're on the Fairview Psychiatric Hospital Street.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So yeah, she builds this house and she starts to get tired. She cranks the music up. She takes a spoonful of instant coffee and then downs it with some Coke. And the loud music causes her mom to come in and basically tucks her into bed. But while she's tucking her into bed, there's this whole situation where like somebody's downstairs waiting for her mom. Like, are we supposed to assume like the mom's just kind of like this floozy kind of sleeping around with all these people? Like, we don't know who's downstairs. I don't think I don't think Kristen knows who's downstairs. It's just some dude who's like, hey, honey, where's the bourbon or whatever he says. Like,
that's the moral. I think that's the moral majority of the 1980s, like sort of peeking through a little bit. Just basically, you don't really need to know what's happening. You just understand that we don't want you to be heard. We don't want to have to hear you. And you're just, I think the expectation is from the perspective of someone who's like a teenager is that the adults don't want to hear anything that you have to say. They don't care. That's the Gen X culture is to sort of like look up to your parents and be like, ah, man, I really wish that they weren't telling me what to do right now. Right.
Daniel, any thoughts so far?
Okay, this is kind of a switching notes, but when you guys were talking about they'll have such special powers in the dream. Mm-hmm. I thought there'd be more examples of their powers.
Right.
But it was like they each have like a little teeny scene and that's like, and then
that was my big complaint too, is that like they didn't capitalize on what I felt to be the real main hook of the movie, which is, oh wow, all these kids are going to have a really unique power and they're going to use it against Freddy and use it to overcome him. But in reality, they just die in weird costumes. Like they don't really do anything.
Yeah, that's kind of true. I mean, well, you didn't get a wizard costume though.
It was for like 2 seconds.
You did get it.
Yeah,
but it's in a dark tunnel, so you can't tell. It's just,
okay. So he did.
Yeah,
right before he died.
Yeah,
before he dies. But they all got it right before they died, right? So like all of the characters who died while they were having their powers, like on display, got a small scene or a small sequence where you get to see, oh, there's something going on here, right? There's a scene where the character who's going to be a badass kind of looks like Sarah Connor, as you pointed out during the movie. Totally. She's kind of disheveled. She's kind of like got switchblades. She's got this mohawk going on, and it's like in a back 1980s alley with like, dirty streets, like some kind of dripping ceiling and neon lights. So it feels very much like you would expect an 80s movie to feel, but her scene is extremely short, right? She's just exploited by Freddy for having, previously apparently been a drug addict and having these holes in her arms, and then with sort of an iconic death with him saying the famous line, "What a rush," and "Let's get high." So those are that scene, even though it's very memorable, is extremely short compared to the amount of time that we spend, for example, in like a monastery and a nunnery in the Catholic Church and on grave sites
And funerals.
Yeah, funerals.
Yeah, plenty of funerals.
So many funerals.
So after Kristen gets tucked in by mom, who's getting ready to go sleep with Lord knows who, she starts dreaming. She gets herself into the Freddy house, and then she kind of starts exploring around. And she grabs a little girl and tries to run with the girl, but she gets stuck. And then she tries to.
Yeah, there's the whole thing, and then she runs into a room, I think, and there's like a bunch of thank you. There's a bunch of hanged individuals, and then she's like, "Oh, we need to get out of here." Looks down, and the girl's like, "Why you can put me down?" And she looks down, and it's like a skeleton. She's like, "Ah!" And then she wakes up. I think
That's right.
that's what it was.
That's right. You know what I did like about this scene?
Or wakes up.
Right, she wakes up.
Yeah.
But what I did like about this scene is when she's roaming around the house, it did feel like a house. In the previous ones, I feel like when they're in the dream and they're in the Freddy house, it's like meandering hallways of like just like very industrial.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very. This looked homey. It looked like a cluttered house. So I did like that about it. But yeah, she kind of wakes up. She goes to the bathroom, and this is where Freddy grabs her using the faucet and then slits her wrist, and then that's what initiates her going to the hospital.
Yes.
Because her mom finds her. It looks like she slit her own wrist, so she brings her to the Fairview Psychiatrist Hospital, where we meet Max, who's played by Lawrence Fishburne, and we get introduced to Dr. Gordon, who is not Bill Maher.
Buddy. Yeah.
Bill Maher.
No.
Yeah.
The Timu Bill Maher.
Yeah, this guy looks very much so like Bill Maher. I don't want to bury the lead too much. He looks like a Bill Maher character. His nose and his face and hair.
And a lot of his
accent, his voice.
So
Bill Maher adjacent.
So so we get introduced to these guys, and that's where we meet Kristen in the hospital. She starts freaking out. She doesn't want to go to bed. She doesn't want to go to sleep or be sedated. And she starts singing a lullaby, the 1-2 Freddy's Coming for You lullaby. And that's where Nancy comes back. So we have Nancy return, and Nancy basically finishes the nursery rhyme with her. And that's how we get introduced to Nancy returning. And then from here,
Nancy being the one character who's returning from any previous movie, the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And later there's another character who returns.
Oh, yeah. What did you think about, Daniel? What did you think about Nancy? Nancy is returning from the original. You, of course, haven't seen the original, but what did you think about Nancy as a character?
I mean, she was good, and that like she sort of ended up being like, I don't know, kind of like a mentor figure to the other kids, and all the kids definitely liked her. Although it seemed like Nancy was already working there, right, at the hospital.
Oh, that's a good question.
And
Was
so-
she already working there?
What was she doing
I
there?
thought she just
Or she
joined,
just
right?
joined.
I think she just
Okay.
There
joined.
in the hallway at the time.
She just happened to be in the
Just
hallway
in the
at the
hallway.
time. Right.
I guess so.
You're hired.
So we didn't I guess we didn't quite get to see how she was like bonding with the other kids as much, or it was like very brief. What they showed, like it just seemed like, I guess she was the only one who seemed to know anything about what was going on, so the kids immediately like sort of went to her, or like
Mhm.
viewed her as like a more, I don't know, mentor type figure.
Yeah, and Dr. Gordon liked her as well. The next scene, they're kind of outside on a bench, and they're and basically he's sharing with her. Dr. Gordon is sharing with Nancy, Nancy about, this is what the kids have been going through. They don't want to be dreaming. One kid cut off his eyelids so he doesn't go to sleep, and so he can't dream. And he thanks her. Basically says, great work on with Kristen on knowing that nursery rhyme and kind of calming her down. So Gordon's impressed with Nancy. Nancy gets up to leave. She drops her purse, and out falls her prescription of Hypnosil. And he notices the Hypnosil, puts it back in her bag, and basically gives it to her, and off she goes. And then Gordon turns, and he sees a nun. And this is going to be a reoccurring character as we go. But at this point, Gordon sees the nun. So any huge thoughts that we want to get out of the way before we move on?
All I know about the nun is we see the nun and then someone walks by and the nun disappears.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a suggestion of, is that living, dead? We don't know. Is it a hallucination? You know.
Yeah.
The nun always appears right after one of the kids dies.
That's right.
That's
And
all the
always in the
appearances.
same place.
There's always in some sort of a funeral / religious setting that the nun's always kind of around. Yeah. Mhm. Go figure.
There is a perspective shift. So you see from Kristen's perspective throughout the beginning opening of the movie, but then they kind of shift back to Nancy when you're introducing the characters that are going to have these sort of like what come out to be powers. It's like, well, here's this character who's can't talk, and here's this character who's very strong.
Yeah,
and
so
you'll see him in
let's
the bench room.
go through those characters actually. So Nancy and Dr. Gordon are kind of walking around the hospital, and she's kind of getting a tour of everybody and meeting everybody. Or was it with the Fishburne character? Was it with Max?
I think Fishburne was showing Nancy,
Okay, yeah.
right.
introducing the characters.
So Lawrence Fishburne / Max is walking around with Nancy, and we get introduced to Phillip. He makes puppets. Remember that because that's going to come in.
He's a
important later.
puppeteer.
Right. He makes puppets. He's
Phillip.
a puppet master, so to speak. We meet Kincaid, the tough guy.
Yeah.
Right. He also has an attitude to him. So he says, this is Kincaid. He spends a lot of time in solitary confinement. And he goes, yeah, that's just so I don't have to hang out with you. Like so he has the tough guy persona. We get introduced to Joey. And Joey quite clearly has a crush on the nurse.
Yeah.
He was eyeing the nurse as she was kind of cleaning up some things and kind of went away. And I noticed he has a tear tattoo here.
Is it a tattoo? I was wondering because
It's not in the rest of the movie.
It's just in that one first scene, like he drew it on.
Yeah.
And you don't see it again.
That's really weird. Yeah, that's right. Because it's gone for what the heck?
I forgot it was there until I saw in my notes a tear tattoo on his face.
I thought he might be in MS-13.
Yeah.
You thought what?
I thought he might be in MS-13 or like one of these like gangs that are like, showing that you've murdered a fool.
Yeah. Then we go back to Kristen and her situation, and Kristen's mom is there in the hospital. And was it in? No, it wasn't. It was at their house. It was at Kristen's house. I think Nancy's trying to talk to Kristen's mom, and Kristen's mom's like, "No, she's just doing this for attention. She doesn't really mean it. She's done this before, talking about her slitting her wrist and kind of making a big deal out of it." And
She's the girl who's cried wolf. That's from her mom's perspective.
right, but the mom, from Kristen's perspective, mom's being very dismissive of her and her whatever she's going through. Then the mom goes upstairs, I think, and sees the house that she had made with the paper mache. So the house is coming back. I wanted more of this little house here. We saw it being built. There's a couple scenes where you kind of just see it, and then at the very end, the hook at the end is that light turning on in the house.
Yeah.
I wish there was more of this house in this.
Yeah, and maybe less walking through old nave of like churches from the Catholic priest's
Right.
perspective. Yeah, I think they could have edited it down and spent more time on sort of the lore
Yeah.
when it comes to like the characters.
Mm-hmm. So after this, we have a little scene, just a very short scene, but it's of Dr. Gordon, and he's doing some snooping on his computer, and he is looking up what Hypnosil is, and it's an experimental drug, and it's designed to give you basically a sleepless dream. So, a dreamless sleep.
A dreamless sleep.
A
even
dreamless
better.
sleep. Yeah.
Sleepless dream is what we do every day.
Yes. I am sleeplessly dreaming right
All
now.
of us are.
Yes. Okay, this next dream sequence, I kind of like this one. So Kristen falls asleep, and a tricycle rolls into her room, and it's got blood on the wheels, and it kind of tracks in the blood.
Each of its 3 wheels.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it melts, right?
It looks like
Yes.
it's like crumpled, like it's a car accident or something. And like as it's getting crumpled, there's like kids screaming like in the background, kind of.
Oh, interesting. I saw it as like it was melting, like it was hot in there.
No, I think it was like crushed,
Oh.
like getting run over
Crushed
by
from
multiple
the pressure
cars.
of the boiler.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Okay. So I did notice this, though. As she gets up and kind of walks around the tricycle, I noticed that there was a cork board behind her that was filled with thumbtacks. and I thought, this is a girl who just slit her wrist. Okay, she's been hospitalized for slitting her wrist.
Pokey items.
And then she's
What are they doing?
She's in a room that's just filled with thumbtacks.
Classic 80s oversight.
So I like this dream sequence a lot. She goes into she goes out of her room in the hospital. The door shuts, and suddenly she's in Freddy's house.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. She actually it's really well done because she's like backing out of the room and all of a sudden door closes and boom, she's in Nancy's place.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of like that scene from the David Fincher film Panic Room. That's it. Panic Room, where they're doing a long shot into it and then it like morphs into actually you're looking through a mirror. Yeah. The scene it felt a lot like that.
Yeah. I like the whole reveal, how she's in a dream.
Well done.
She gets herself into the house. So she starts exploring around the house, and there's something in the walls, there's something in the floor, and it's kind of going around and breaking everything. A worm comes out from the ground. No, before she gets there to this worm, I like the pig scene. She sees a pig that's on the table.
Oh, it's like a luau style, like prepared pig, and it's like then it just goes.
Yeah, then it lunges forward. I thought that was a really good effect.
Yeah,
and then the worm comes out, and I like the way it eats her. Like I think this was actually filmed backwards, and they played it the other way around.
They must have,
because the way it eats her, it takes like a bite out of her. I think it was like releasing her, and then they played it backwards. That's the way it looked, but it was really impressive. I like the way it looked, and. This is where you learn that Nancy has an ability to. Kristen. Kristen has an ability to pull people in from her dream. So while she's battling this Freddy worm, Nancy falls through her chair. She
calls out for Nancy.
Mm-hmm, goes into the dream, and then Nancy actually stabs the Freddy Krueger worm eyeball, and they all get pulled out of the dream. So we kind of learn that Kristen has this ability to pull people into the dreams, which is cool.
There's a moment of recognition too, where I think Nancy looks up and goes, "Oh, it's Freddy," and Freddy goes like, "You."
Oh, right.
And but
Daniel, any thoughts so far?
I did like the giant worm scene. I was like, where is this coming from? Like this is like so random.
It just feels good to see something well done.
But like Freddy is supposed to be like the worm, right? Like
Freddy,
he's all
Freddy
these
the
like
worm.
things that happen. Because he's like always like transforming into things.
Yeah, he could take on whatever form he wants to, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a dream. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it gives you sort of carte blanche as like from a filmmaker's perspective to sort of like make your monster, who is Freddy Krueger in this case, do and be able to do whatever you want and have it easily be like just be accepted by the audience versus some of the other movies that kind of had if you compare it to something like Halloween or Friday the 13th, where I think that it was a little bit more of a ask for the audience to buy in that, now Michael Myers has powers. Now he's like unable to be killed. Now Freddy Krueger, or now like Jason Voorhees, like has the ability to like transcend the universe. Like this stuff wasn't written into the original. Whereas with A Nightmare on Elm Street, it was sort of written into the first movie where they can explore a lot more sort of strange occurrences and like X-Files style weird stuff that I just think that because it's paranormal, they're able to do a lot more with sort of like set pieces.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a good thing and a hindrance to the movie. And on one hand, it does allow you the freedom to kind of explore and try new things, and you don't really get backed into a corner of logic because you can just kind of go on to your next whatever idea you want to do in a dream. But on the flip side, for someone like me, for an audience member like me who does like things to be a little more lucid or a little more tactile when you're watching it, not feel so ethereal, that whole supernatural element, the fact that it depends so heavily on the dream world and the dreamscape, it does kind of lose me sometimes, these movies. And sometimes the dream sequence, because I'm always thinking like, okay, well, what are his powers? What is the extent at which he could, because remember the first one, they made a big deal about, we need to get first of all, we need to show Freddy that we are not scared of him, right? That was a big deal of the first one. And if we can grab him and wake up, we can pull him into the real world. Yeah. That never comes back again in the third one, especially.
Yeah. The whole thing about this whole thing, I think, is I mean, especially the first one. It's like continuity. What the hell's continuity? What's that? Oh, it's like it's it's that extreme of it can be great as a creative outlet to be like, cool, we're gonna make him a worm. Like, that's great. That's awesome because we're clearly in a dream doing that. But when it's like, hey, how does this work? Magic. It's like, oh, stop it.
They're a little loosey-goosey. They're a little fast
Yeah,
with the rules.
If it's in a dream, leave
give you
it.
that.
If not,
That's true.
don't.
They're a little fast and loose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the next scene here, we have a group therapy scene. Then we meet more of the characters. We meet Will Stanton. And this Will guy is the one who is I think this is the one who's in a wheelchair. I think. And he likes Dungeons and Dragons, right? That's kind of what we know about him. We meet Jennifer. She wants to be an actress. She wants to be on TV. Keep what they like in mind, by the way. This might come in important later. We meet Joey, who doesn't talk much. He doesn't talk at all. In fact, he's mute. He's also the one who has a crush on that nurse. And we meet Taryn. Taryn is she's a junkie, basically. She's a recovering addict. She's also kind of like a bad bitch, right? Yeah. She's the one who's like,
she could have got her own spinoff.
She could have got her own spinoff. And then we also meet Phillip. Which one was Phillip?
Phillip is the one with the marionette.
Phillip is the one with the marionette. Okay.
The one with the puppets. The puppeteer.
The puppeteer. I got you. Okay.
Or the voodoo. I mean, I think he at one point explains it as like, oh, these characters are voodoo. I'm not making them with the correct materials, but these are my puppets for. He doesn't say voodoo, but that's the vibe you get, because a lot of, I think, 80s movies also, like if you look back into the sort of, at the time, a lot of movies were using voodoo as a I want to say it like as a like a plot device for like, oh, this character is, I think Hellraiser does that at some point, right? Mm-hmm. So like the character.
Oh no, you're thinking of Chucky.
Oh, Chucky.
Yeah. That was.
It's not just though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So as a joke too, right?
Yeah.
So anything that happens in Child's Play is a joke.
Oh, of course.
But I think that there are multiple iterations in the 80s where like dolls are used to represent like some sort of like control over physical environment, and this is, I think, that character that does it, but you get to see it in reverse.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. I didn't think of it like that. I like that look at it. And of course, during this therapy session, we get, I forget this nurse's name. I just call her Nurse Ratchet. Yeah.
Nurse Ratchet.
So they ask her what dreams are, and she says they're the byproduct of guilt, psychological scars stemming from moral conflicts and overt sexuality.
She's the moral majority. She's the character that like is the representative of like what they think ought to be the correct course of action versus like what people actually do, right? Like this is the way that you should act, and nobody acts this way. So you get these negative effects, right? So this is like the sort of final girl sort of trope going on.
Yeah, the moral authority. I like that. Well, cut to our next scene. We meet, or we hang out with Will, Taryn, and Joey while they're hanging out playing D&D. And I like this scene because it goes beyond just having this character be into D&D. It actually shows them actually taking part in playing. So I thought that was kind of a neat scene, just having a little throwaway scene of them playing D&D before going to bed. So they are. Max comes in and gets them all to bed, and the two boys there, Will and Joey, basically when Max leaves, they take turns, basically like on guard, like on shift. So one will sleep, the other one will stand guard, and they kind of go back and forth. So that's their routine. Then we jump over to Nancy and Dr. Gordon having dinner, and they're very heavy-handedly dating. Like not so much dating as like actually being a couple, but they're always together doing something very romantic, eating dinner. At one point they're at her place. Yeah. Like they just kind of go back and forth like that. But he basically gives some, because she's trying to get him to prescribe the Hypnosil to the kids so they don't dream. And he's offering pushback on that. He's saying, no, I'm not going to give Hypnosil, which is an experimental drug to a bunch of suicidal kids. So he's not having it. So he's trying to be responsible. And from his perspective, it looks like she's just trying to be, just flippantly giving them drugs. He doesn't realize the danger they're in, I think. So
I was actually surprised how quickly, was the name Dr. Gordon?
Yeah.
I was surprised how quickly he sort of like started agreeing with Nancy and like going to her side and like believing in the stuff. Because I thought it was going to be like a big deal, like over the course of the movie, like trying to convince him, like, oh, there's some weird stuff happening. You should like believe me, blah, blah, blah. But he came around to like, okay, we'll prescribe the medication and stuff. And he's going out on a limb to like give it to them. So I was surprised by like how quickly he became like on her side.
yeah,
Like,
it did.
like
It
one of
did
the
happen
main-
quick.
One of the main like characters against Freddy.
Although there was a big impetus for this, though. It was the whole Phillip dream.
Right.
So Phillip in bed is sleeping, and one of his puppets comes to life. We get some great stop animation, I think, of the puppet actually turning into Freddy, cutting itself loose, dropping down. It grows right from the little puppet. It grows up to the full-size Freddy, and it slices his legs and arms open, and then out come, I think they're supposed to be like his tendons or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically he gets puppeted down the hall up to a tower, and basically all of his friends are just kind of watching from the window, shouting at him as he's up there kind of helpless. And then we see the big, huge picture or big, huge silhouette of Freddy up there who cuts the strings, and then he falls down. So from the adult's perspective, it looks like he was sleepwalking, walked himself up to the tower, and then fell off. But all the kids who were watching from the window saw, like, no, he was awake. He was aware. He was scared. He knew what was going on. So I wonder, could they see Freddy too, or they just saw him?
I think one of them said he like saw Freddy, I think, in the sky, like, manipulating him.
That's right. Well, and then the lead up to that also is they see it happening. And of course, who's the two people to notice? The one kid who can't walk and the one kid who can't talk. And they're like, quick, you gotta go tell somebody. It's like, yes, kid who can't talk, go tell everyone. And so he starts banging on the freaking doors with like the lunch tray that he has for some reason. And it's like, I mean, again, it's like, I suppose in a way it's supposed to be like, it's scary and dramatic because look at the situation, but it's also like, okay, who's the Joker who came up with this scene? It's like, come on, really? Yeah, let's get the mute kid to go warn everybody. What a great idea. It's like, you couldn't have taught, I mean, literally, you had the time to like, what if the mute kid picked up the kid who can't walk and just carried him to another room, warned someone else, like, I don't know, Max, who can do something, it's like there were so many options of just like, and then they all go to the one room like and go, no, don't do it, instead of like, hey, maybe we should go open the door that's over. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I also thought it was interesting that when he was being puppeted by Freddy, he managed to like walk through walls, like walk through doors.
yeah.
He could
Like,
do that. Yeah.
what
He
was
walked
that
through the
about?
locked
So
doors.
again, like what are the rules here? Like he's in a dream. I get that his mind is out there, but if you're going to physically walk him to his death, then he should have been lying in his bed and then just died. And then like, oh my God, this is so weird. He was lying in bed and suddenly all of his bones are broken.
That would have made more sense.
That would have been interesting. But yeah, he physically walked there or opened the door on his way. The fact that he like disappeared through the door was kind of weird to me.
Yeah.
So the next morning we have our therapy session. This is like a post-traumatic type meeting, right? Oh, one of your friends just, committed suicide last night. Let's talk about it. Kind of one of those therapy sessions. So this is where we get the impression that all the adults are clear on, okay, this was maybe suicide, but most likely a sleepwalking accident, and all the kids kind of know otherwise. And this is where that Dr. Ratchet girl, I have her name here as Elizabeth, by the way. I don't know her last name. Dr. Elizabeth Ratchet offers to sedate all the kids and lock their doors. And all the kids are like just upset about this. We don't want to be locked in our rooms. We don't want to go to sleep. We don't want to have any risks of having dreams. And this is where the Dr. Gordon says, okay, that's fine, but I want to give them all Hypnosil. So I want to so if you're going to make them sleep, I'm going to take away their dreams. So this is where he kind of jumped on the. So yeah, on one hand, maybe he did kind of jump there flippantly, but on the other hand, one of these kids did die, so maybe this is kind of like his back's against a wall kind of a situation.
Yeah, he has. I appreciate in like this movie does have some pacing problems, like when it comes to some sort of slower engines of the film, like later on. But at this point, I really dislike in like as a trope in movies, people just not believing another person and having that be sort of like the main like impetus of the film, like is to convince one person to believe what's happening is really happening. I don't know. It's just a personal choice. I don't think that it's good storytelling. I think that it's lazy. And the fact that he does jump on board at this time, I think I appreciate. I will also say that I know that there might be some weird like continuity problems when it comes to it, but like to go back, that scene where Phillip is being marionetted up to the top, right? Like I think that like it is a very iconic scene. Even just having like the characters that are in one character who's in a wheelchair, one character who can't talk, be the characters who have to like spread the news of this, is sort of a dramatic irony that is I also appreciate the fact that like you couldn't just be like, there's a kid up there, let's go get him, and have everyone just be like, oh yeah, let's all together, let's do it, and have like him just run back and forth banging the pots, like wake up everyone and basically follow me. I just think that it's a fun shot. It's just fun. It's just fun as you watch it shot for shot. And if you're not paying so much attention to, does this make sense or whatever? If you are wondering like, oh, does this make sense? Probably not. But if you're just enjoying it for the imagery, it is it's worth a watch. Just I would say this is probably my favorite. That was probably my favorite set piece of the film. I even said it when we were watching. I'm like, this is it. This is the best. This is the best. This is the best scene in the movie.
He did say that. He said that. So
that's for you.
The next dream sequence, because at this point they're all going to have a night to sleep on their own because they're going to get the hypnosil, but it will take a day. So we have one more night. Basically, all these kids have to sleep. We get a really interesting scene here before it's bedtime. Taryn, who is the recovering addict, she just got out of the shower. She's kind of getting ready for bed. And then like one of the nurses or one of the orderlies comes up to her and basically says, hey, I got the keys to the office. Let's go get high. Like he's trying to tempt her to go get high. And she's like, no, that's old me. That's not the new me. That's not who I am now. So I thought this was a really good, effective scene because it shows that if she really wanted to relapse, if she really wanted to slide back like that, she has an opportunity. This guy's disgusting for offering that, but the fact that she says no to that opportunity when it presents itself to her, I think speaks really highly of her character. So I like that moment. But the very following scene is we have Jennifer in the quote unquote TV room. They actually call it the TV room. It's a tiny little TV mounted on the wall. That's the TV room. So she's in there, she's watching TV and she's trying to keep herself up. She keeps nodding off and she's watching an interview with Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. On Dick Cavett.
And I forget what they said, but he said, something, blah, 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 blah. And then suddenly it's Freddy. He's like, why don't you shut up? And he swipes at her and then it goes to static.
Yeah.
It goes to static. She walks up, she tries to fix the TV, and that's where those robotic arms come out. They lift her up. Freddy's head comes out of the top of the TV, which is a fantastic shot. And this is basically where we get the welcome to prime time, bitch. Smashes her head into the TV. A glorious spectacle. I love this death scene.
It's pretty good.
Death scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel, what do you think of the death scene?
No, it was funny. Like I did not think it was going to be that. I don't know, like that's silly.
Oh, it's.
But yeah.
Oh, these get silly.
good.
Yeah.
It's
good.
very
Yeah.
silly.
They're good though. They're like the death scenes in the movie. At least 3 of them are very iconic death scenes. You're hard pressed to find so many compacted into one sort of movie, like classic movie, like more than 35-year-old movie, be sort of all in one, right? Like usually like in a series as long as something like A Nightmare on Elm Street, they are spread out. But in this case, all of I think not the most classic, because of course the first one had like classic deaths. I don't remember any from the second movie. I don't really. After watching this, I don't remember any from the fourth or fifth movie, like specifically the deaths from those movies. But this one had like 3 major ones, right?
Yeah, this one had some good ones. Well, I think they all have good ones, but this one, I mean, I think this one's up there with, I'm trying, because there are some good ones in the rest of them. The first one, I'm thinking of that, right? The onto the ceiling.
Yeah.
The blood's spewing out. The second one, I'm thinking when he actually emerges out from the other guy's body. Right, that was pretty gnarly.
That was brutal.
The next one, we're gonna have that cockroach scene. I always like that death scene. Yeah.
I can't recall it, but I now I'm interested to watch the next
Okay.
one. Like, even though I didn't start with the first and second one. I just started with the third one. I'm still interested to see what's going to happen. What do they do next again?
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, what does happen next? After this death scene, we have a funeral, and Dr. Gordon's there, and he gets approached by the nun. And I like this actually too, because he's off to the side. So everybody's at the funeral. He's off to the side, leaning up against a tree, and he's kind of crying. And that's where he gets approached by the nun, and she says, "Don't be ashamed. This is a place of sorrow. So don't be ashamed of your tears. It's okay that you're sad here," she's saying to him, which I found quite profound for a movie like this. She says, basically, the only way we get this to stop is if the unquiet spirit be laid to rest. And they're in the middle of this conversation. Nancy comes along, kind of interrupts them, and then when he looks back, the nun's gone. So
it's like Batman. Like how Batman in the Nolan movies just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the nun
Yeah.
is.
He does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does that. Okay. So then, again, another date with Dr. Gordon and Nancy. They're at dinner at her place this time. And this is where Gordon is like questioning what's going on with his facility, right? If this girl died alone in the TV room, we have another boy who jumped off the tower. What is going on? Like, he's really questioning what's going on with these kids. And Nancy says, maybe you're ready. Maybe you're ready to understand really what's going on.
Right. Yeah, because this is where she actually tells him like what's happening, like the supernatural stuff.
Yes.
So even before he was told about this, he was willing to like believe her, which we mentioned before. That's why I was like surprised that, like, you mentioned how it can be a thing for a movie to make that a big deal. Like, one character just doesn't believe the other character, and that's like, I agree. It's annoying that they just make it a thing. That's why I was surprised that they actually made Dr. Gordon like reasonable, I guess.
Yeah, so this next scene is now Nancy and Dr. Gordon are leading the group. So instead of Dr. Gordon and Nurse Ratched, now it's Nancy there. And Nancy's basically telling all the kids about Freddy Krueger. And when she describes him, his burnt face, his claws on his hands, all the other kids are like, oh, wow, she knows what's going on. So they trust her even more. And this is where we get introduced to all of their powers. So they'd use the whole group hypnosis trick, right? He uses a little pendulum that's going back and forth. And basically, he leads them through hypnosis to fall asleep. And I love how he starts with, relax your toes. Right? Start with your feet, relax your toes. And the camera lingers on, is it Phillip? The one who's in the wheelchair?
Will.
I love how Will is kind of sitting there like, okay, my toes are relaxed.
I can't feel them.
Boy, they're so relaxed, I can't feel them. So anyway, they're going through this whole procedure, and they kind of just, they just sit there. And they wait, and they realize, oh, nothing happened. Okay, so they're kind of walking around thinking, okay, maybe we'll try this again in a bit, but, let's take a little break. Joey gets up, and he gets called out into the hallway by the nurse, and the nurse takes him back to another room, and we start to get like a little seduction scene going. But while the scene's going on, we go back to the main room, and he uses a little, I always want to call it Newton's balls. What are those things where the clicker thing?
Isn't it something like that? Pendulum.
Some sort of something where the balls click back and forth.
Pendulum.
Yeah, I don't know. I always want to call it Newton's balls, but it doesn't sound right to me. So he's using the Newton's balls things going back and forth, and they all break apart and they start floating around. So that's how we know we're in a dream.
3D.
Oh, I also like how we're given a lot of these visual clues to tell us that when we're in a dream. I feel like the first one was a little loosey-goosey with when and how it was in a dream. I feel like I'm more forgiving of this one when we're in a dream.
They did a better job of it too. That's why you can be more forgiving. 'Cause they did a better job.
Because you can hear the synthesizers.
You can hear
Right?
this.
Like as an audience member, you don't necessarily always notice the cues that you're being given when you see a scene. Like if you're watching, for example, like The Lord of the Rings, they have a theme for each character who comes on screen. You might not notice it, but when you're on rewatch, you're gonna notice it. It happens when you see the dream sequences and the synthesizer swells, and you're just you might not notice it like consciously, but you can feel it. You're like, oh, this is a dream sequence. Like it doesn't feel like you're in the real world. The real world in this movie is completely silent without any, like there's no musical cues at all. Like the musical cues generally come in when either there's going to be either a jump scare or some kind of horror moment coming that is instigated by Freddy Krueger.
All right, and it did take us longer to watch this movie than normal. We talked a lot. Yeah. We did a lot of rewinding. We did a lot of pausing to kind of assess. So we are running a little bit longer than what we thought we would. Are you guys good to? How much longer you guys got?
Oh, like I should probably leave like now.
So
Any last cues?
Any last words
Any
before
last
you take
words?
off?
Good movie. Good movie.
Good movie.
I want to see the
Tell
next
me how
one.
you really feel.
Nice.
I want to see the one where.
Do you want to go back in
Nancy
time and watch
comes
them
back
again?
Again.
You want to see the one where Nancy comes back
Nancy
again?
does come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
You miss Nancy.
I thought she was gonna live, and then. Well, yeah. Again.
That's something. Don't even get me started on that too. What an
Yeah, we don't
anticlimactic
wanna-
death for
so
her.
let's go forward a little bit. You could re-edit this to be however you want, but of all the crazy iconic deaths in the movie, Nancy's not one of them.
No, being the final girl from the original coming back into the third one.
And she just gets stabbed normally, basically.
It was a terrible
It's
death.
stabbed normally.
I thought it was going to be a
That's
more iconic.
kind of
I forgot she died in this
unfair.
movie.
It's kind of like how Kane, or was it Kane? No, it was Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. He just, bam, he's gone.
Oh yeah.
You're just like, what? He's the main
Yeah.
villain. What? Okay.
All right. Well, Daniel, thanks for joining us. Sorry you couldn't stay for the end, but we did take a long time to watch that
Daniel.
movie.
I'll move over.
Yeah.
I'll move into your spot.
Through the power of editing, this will all be gone. Next thing you know, we'll just be.
Come on in. I guess I'll hold this.
All right. Well, thanks, Daniel, for stopping by and hanging out with us. I wish you could have stayed for the whole thing. It is nice to get a perspective from somebody who's never seen any of the movies. So that's I value his opinion. I really wanted to hear more, but what are you gonna do?
He's coming in on the third movie.
Maybe we'll have him in when Nancy comes back.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Nightmare?
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
Nightmare. So that is the next time that Nancy's going to come back.
Yeah.
So I don't know the lore. Like, I don't know where characters check in and out, but I know that they come back multiple times, right? I mean, we're about to meet another character who comes back, right?
Soon, yeah. So where do we leave off, though? What just happened? Oh, this is where they're dreaming, and we get introduced to all their powers. So Will says, in my dreams, I can walk. And he gets out of his wheelchair, and he goes, I'm a wizard.
Yeah, that was actually very well done. I thought all this whole scene where you get to see all their characters, this is their potential power. This is what they're going to provide as a way to fight against Freddy Krueger and his powers.
I know, and I look forward to it so much. And watching it this time through, I realized how little of the movie that is.
It's just used as a way of being like, oh, that's your power, and then it's like wiped away.
Mm-hmm.
For most of them, wiped away as, oh, it hurt a little, because he smartly, maybe you could say that this is well written from Freddy Krueger's perspective, he smartly isolates these characters and kills them off one by one. Because if you were going to fight them all at once, like a Marvel movie or something, he would probably lose. So, for the flaw that I would see in this as a writing style, it is good from like a intellectual perspective from Freddy Krueger. Right, he's like doing the right thing in order to like maintain his survival.
He's doing it the most efficiently. He's doing it the most efficient way to take these teens out, but the most efficient way isn't for the most entertaining way.
Yeah, actually, I just realized that one of the characters, the one with the marionette, right? You never really get to see what his power would be, but it would probably be something that has to do with voodoo, where I think maybe you could argue that Freddy is most threatened by that and took him out like early in the film because he doesn't want to be controlled the way that he controls other characters.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like that.
Yeah, you got to say though, so the powers are revealed, right? And so we have the kid in the wheelchair who's super into D&D who could not only walk, but he's a grand wizard or something, which is awesome. Yeah. And then what's the next kid? I can do gymnastics.
Kristen, yeah.
Yes. But she could also bring in the characters from from the real world.
That's true.
She brings them into the dream. She brings Nancy into her. So she has she's dual.
Yeah, she dual wields.
She's a dual wielder.
She's a multi-class.
Yes. Yeah, see, if someone loved D&D who wrote this movie, right? Like someone was like, I'm going to take every mystical thing that I could think of, like that's 80s coded, and put it all explorer style into this movie and just make it a thing. And he just didn't necessarily know how to like execute at the end.
Yeah. Because I mean, we even have the one guy who's super strong. So you got your barbarian, you got your wizard, you got your monk,
druid.
You got your druid.
Right.
Yeah.
Kristen would be the monk because she's the acrobat who's kind of jumping all over the place.
Nancy's kind of a cleric, I guess.
Oh yeah, Nancy.
But yeah, it does seem a little bit like though that these powers were less of a you can fight Freddy and more of like this is going to be your death scene.
Right.
Yes.
And so, but before I want to go, we have a couple more characters here. Kincaid. He is the strong man.
Yeah.
Right. He's the one. He gets up and he bends that chair in half. And then last we get Taryn, who is she's beautiful, but she's bad, and she's dressed like a biker, right, with a mohawk, and she's got those switchblades, and she's super cool. What would she be in the D&D world?
Rogue.
The rogue.
Yeah, she'd be a good rogue.
Okay.
I don't want to like get too much into like the visual style of these characters or whatever, but you know, like when you introduce her, you're like, she's a junkie or whatever. But when you see her in the sequence where it's her in her own power, in her own world, where she can sort of like quote unquote control it, even though Freddy is going to be the master controller in the end. And she's fucking hot. I was like, you know how I am a little bit like sort of like all over the place when it comes to like trying to pay attention to these sort of movies while they're playing, and we have to rewind a lot for me. But in this scene, I was keyed in. I was like, oh shit. Look at her fucking mohawk, and she's got the switchblades.
Right, she's
like,
dual wielding.
I wanted more of that. That's why I'm saying, like, I think that she could have a spin-off show where I would watch it. I'd be like, I just want to see this character fucking kicking ass with her fucking mohawk in the 1980s, and her like, you know, dream world, like with the mist coming from the ground and the sewer, all the neon signs.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing. It's like basically what movies that are based on the 1980s are like. The visual style is, I think, based on that sequence. Like you watch Stranger Things, and the visual style is very much so in line with the way that this scene looks, right? Like you see like a John Wick, I think chapter 4, there's a visual style like when it comes to the neon lights that very much so matches this style from this very, very short sequence in this movie.
It is a short sequence. All their death scenes, unfortunately, are very short sequences.
Mega short.
So while this is all going on, while we're getting introduced to all these characters, we go back to Joey, who is getting hot and heavy with the nurse. And the nurse is basically saying, you know, I've always been attracted to you. I always try to find a reason to go to your room and to be over there. Do you feel the same about me? So she takes off her clothes, revealing 2 large breasts. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed her breasts and how large they were.
Large. They were also breasts.
Very large breasts.
Somehow less hot than Karen.
So she ties up Joey with her tongue.
With his tongue.
With his tongue.
Yeah.
She bites his tongue out.
Tongue-tied.
She spits the tongue out all over and ties him up. The bed falls away, revealing burning hell down below. So there he is. And this is where Freddy says, what's the matter, Joey? You're a little tongue-tied. And you notice this too. His voice was like, they're having a hard time figuring out where to have Freddy's voice. Is it a deep register? Is it a high register? They're kind of all over the place.
You
in this
know,
one.
the more I watch it, the more I'm thinking maybe that's intentional. Like the idea
maybe.
is like it's a dream, so it's sort of like it fluctuates.
They all hear him differently.
Yeah.
They hear him in the most scary way that for them.
I like this.
That's sort of a hand wavy, not a real answer, but you know,
Yeah.
it could be.
That's this whole series.
If you're always trying to explain away the flaws made by filmmakers, then this works.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I like that. Yeah, whatever would scare you the most, that's how you hear his voice. I like that.
Yeah.
So now that Joey's locked up or tied up, tongue-tied, we go back to the group and they can't get out. Everything's suddenly hot, right? They try to open the door, but the door handle's hot. Kincaid tries to break the wall down, but the wall's too hot. And then it starts closing in on them. They start to freak out, and suddenly that's when Nurse Ratched just walks in. And she's like, "What's going on?" And they're all just kind of like laying around.
Oh,
and
yeah. They're all
and then we
asleep.
find out that, what's his face? Joey's
in a coma.
Joey's in a coma. So Joey didn't physically walk out of the room. He was dreaming. And he's not physically hanging over a bed. He's in a coma. Which begs the question, that guy who was walking to the top and then jumped out.
I know.
So he was, I don't know. So,
Yeah.
It's whatever would scare you the most.
Suspension of disbelief. You suspend your disbelief.
Yeah.
Come on.
A lot of it. So at this is a final straw. Now that we have a resident in a coma, and all these kids are freaking out, and they're taking Hypnosil, which isn't even it's an experimental drug. That's the final straw. Dr. Gordon is relieved of his duty. Him and what's her face, Nancy.
Wait, did they even get the Hypnosil? Because they were dreaming. So I don't think they got it.
Oh, that's a
I
good
don't
point
think that
too.
even happened.
That's a good
Because it
point
was going to
too.
show up the next day, and then
Did they start taking the Hypnosil yet?
no, I don't think they would have had to. Yeah, no, there's no way. 'Cause
Maybe
they
she
wouldn't
saw. Maybe she saw he
I
ordered.
think it was like he
suspension of disbelief.
Suspension of disbelief. This actually reminds me of the thing where you and I have had this conversation about the Matrix. And this is a little bit of an aside, but it relates because with the Matrix, I always complained about how unrealistic it looks, especially the Matrix Reloaded and the Matrix Revolutions.
Give me this back. Yes, you always. Anybody who complains about the Matrix, I've got to step up and say this much. Okay. When Neo is doing all the flips and spins and twists and turns, and
Very rubbery.
people complain that it looks fake. Well, let me tell you something. Okay, people who complain about the Matrix looking fake, Neo is operating at a speed at which the Matrix cannot render.
Matrix cannot render it.
So this is just the way it looks.
That's the way that the Matrix can only estimate what it looks like.
So
we get the estimation of what it looks like. So it's not actually rubbery. He's just moving faster.
So
than it can fucking
when
do.
Neo is jumping over the heads of all the Agent Smiths and spinning around with that pole,
kick.
okay, it only looks fake to our eyes because we're watching from the outside.
I
The
appreciate
Matrix,
this as a reasoning.
the Matrix cannot
doesn't
render
make
it.
me enjoy the scene anymore, but I do like the idea. Like, hey, there's a reason for this.
Yeah.
There's a reason for this.
So
Not because it was made in 2003 when these things were not as well done as they would be now, and it wasn't practical. It's because the Matrix didn't have the understanding to render it.
didn't have the processing
It didn't have the
power.
processing power to render it at the ability.
my CPU is a neural net processor. I cannot comprehend
Okay,
what
back-
Neo is doing with the Matrix.
We go back to back to 1987.
I may have said in the past that I sometimes overthink things.
No, that was good though, because it makes me appreciate that film more, and it makes me appreciate this film more when you just are like, listen, it's loosey goosey, it's dreamy, man, it's dreamy, it's ethereal, it's a little bit. You don't know what's happening. Was that person really there, or were they not really there? Was that door there, or maybe he dreamed that door?
Maybe
he didn't
he-
really walk through a door.
Is he walking through the door or is he just sleeping?
The door is the dream.
Oh my gosh. The door is the dream.
Just enjoy the movie for the kills, really.
You're right. So
I have to make this a super cut, dude.
Dr. Gordon is fired, right? He's packing up his things. He's outside. But while he's packing up, he looks up and he sees the nun watching from the tower above. And he goes to follow her. And this is where we learn about the backstory of Freddy Krueger. So the nun is up there in the tower, and she tells him this tower used to be where they would house the criminally insane. And one of the employees, Amanda Kruger, was locked in here with 100 maniacs, and she was raped
Hundreds of times
by hundreds of maniacs. So Freddy Krueger is the bastard son of 100 maniacs. This is where all that comes in, because that's a big plot point in all the movies going forward, and that comes from right here in number 3, which I appreciate.
They're building the lore. They're deepening it. They're expanding on the story that they've already structurally created, and they're making it a more dense mythology.
Mythos.
Thank you.
Mythos. Yes. So I like that. I also like that it happens here, which is at a psychiatric ward. So it's right. Years ago, it really could have been a place for where they would just house the criminally insane. Well, put them in that tower. Put them in the North Tower.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is coming not very far off of this is during the Reagan era. Reagan famously ended the asylums. Right. There's no more from the 1980 decree or early 1980s. Reagan, there were asylums that were basically state funded. I don't want to say prisons, but basically for people who had mental illness housed in certain areas. But then after Vietnam, there were a lot of people that were filing into them, and it was becoming expensive for the federal government, and they basically ended the programs and were like, this is under the auspicion that it was not like humane in order to keep people physically away. They ended the asylum program. Now there were a lot of things that happened at the asylum system that were like lobotomies and stuff that would have been we should have ended,
and employees being raped by hundreds of criminally insane.
Yes, naturally. But there's a way to find a middle ground where you're like, there still should be state funded places for people to go who are experiencing things where they need to be away from the public, but they are not criminals.
Right.
Right. And
maybe only 4 criminally insane people raping at a time.
Oh my God.
4.
Not 100.
Not 100. 100.
Right.
It's just it's an ungodly amount of people, especially for one person.
Right.
Amanda Kruger in this case. Thoughts?
Yeah. Sure. Let's not. Yeah. Yep. What he
Okay.
said.
Don't say that with a smile.
So next up, we have Nancy visiting Joey in the hospital. He's still got his whole coma thing going on, and for some reason, well, not for some reason, we know the reason, but his shirt is wide open, exposing his chest, right? And as Nancy watches, Freddy cuts into his skin across his chest, saying, "Come and get him, bitch," because there wouldn't be a Freddy quote without "bitch" at the end.
This was the movie that started that,
I think so, yeah. Are you good on time?
I'm good on time right now.
Okay.
I have about maybe 15 more minutes.
Okay, yeah, you might not make it to the end. Gosh darn it, this movie's so freaking long.
We keep losing them, folks.
It's not that long though, is it?
It's not that long in time, but there's just a lot going on where nothing's really going on.
There's a lot to talk about when something does happen, but there's also not a lot that happens in between those two things. But the fun parts are so fun that you want to talk about them for a while, longer than they actually last.
Right, the fun parts I think are worth talking about longer than how long the movie shows them.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Like more than any other, like as a synthesis of the movie, the fun parts are very fun, and I wish that they were longer, and I wish that the other parts that are the chuffa, as it were, was shorter, right? Which is, I feel like 2/3 of the movie is chuffa that we're not even going to talk about, and then the fun stuff is only 1/3, but it's just so much like to like chew on that it does feel like it's worth mentioning and discussing.
Yeah, so now Nancy goes and finds her dad from the first movie.
Yes.
Right. So this is interesting. She goes to a bar called Little Nemo's. Nemo, of course, being in Dreamland, right? Little Nemo in Dreamland.
Yep.
So she goes to Little Nemo's good to get her dad. Her dad's a drunk at this point, and he's not even a cop anymore. He's a security guard. You see on his little shoulder there, he's a security guard. So he got demoted at some point. Now he's an alcoholic, just like her mom was from the first one. And dad's not willing to help. So that's it. She leaves. But then Gordon stays behind and basically like threatens him. Like, listen here, pal, you're going to help. Right. So basically, Bill Maher talks Nancy's dad into helping out. So I don't remember if there's a scene in between this or not. Let's just pretend there's not a scene in between this. The Bill Maher character, and what is his name? Gordon. Dr. Gordon and Nancy. What is Nancy's dad's name?
The actor's name is John Saxon.
Yeah.
So I just call him
John. So John Saxon and Bill Maher go
Walk into a bar.
to a church, and they get holy water and a cross. So again, here's this Christian themes coming in. Remember, in the second one, we had some heavy-handed on the Christian themes. The second one, not really.
Well, this one at least makes sense because we're talking about trying to get a proper burial going. So there's like an actual practical, practical.
It's all going to dovetail
Yeah.
back. It's all going to dovetail back into the sort of Catholic rites in the Junkyard.
Yeah, we have in the Junkyard. We have a lot of the Christian Catholic nuances really flourish in that part. So Nancy, by the way, Nancy and what's his face, Dr. Gordon, they're not fired, but they're like relieved of duty, whatever that means. So, but whatever that means, they can just freely go back in because at this point now Nancy goes back in and starts talking to the other kids to basically say goodbye. And they do it in the TV room with that burned hole on the wall where what's-her-face just got her head plowed in. Oh, my gosh.
Amazing.
Talk about a therapeutic environment. So while they're there, Nancy leads another group, and they do another hypnosis thing to get themselves back into sleep. And they all go meet up in Kristen's room, where Kristen's in a padded room at this point. Because I think Kristen flips out at some point about having to go to sleep. Or no, she flips out because Nancy is taken away. So she flips out, so they put her in the padded room, and then they all go to sleep, and then Kristen pulls them all into that padded room with her. So, yeah, and then from there, Freddy's gloves start ripping through, feathers start floating around in this really kind of ethereal, dreamy sequence, and then we to like one by one. This is where we get to the finale where we one by one take them all out, and this is where the movie really speeds up. And if only it started this like 20 minutes sooner and expanded on all of these scenes, but unfortunately it felt like we were going slow,
very sluggish.
So slow and sluggish to get to this point here, and then it just races to the end.
Yeah.
So this is my biggest critique of the movie, is how slow the rest of it was up to this point, and how fast this point is here. So,
but I'd also say that the first like 20, 30 minutes of it it was well paced. It was well thought out. They were setting it up. And then it just hit this like middle block that was like, there were some things that were happening in between. Every once in a while, someone would die. There would be some like major iconic line, like 80s sort of iconography. But it was just what would happen in between. They'd go back. There'd be another funeral scene. There's another scene in another church. And there's another like talking to the priest. There's more talking to the nun. There's more like, oh, what should we do? Let's discover, like weird sort of dialogue between two characters, and then finally you get to this finale, which is this like a piecemeal one by one dream sequence, and basically cutting the heads off all of the sort of Hydra along the way.
And this this last part of the movie is the part of the movie that I remember the most, because it's when we have all the unique battles with everybody's unique ability. And this is what my mind goes to when I think back to this movie, and I was excited for it. But I tell you, watching it this time through, I realized, gosh, it takes a long time to get here. And then when it finally gets here, it's gone. So we meet Kristen, and Kristen's back to building a house right? Flashback. She's building that house again. She gets tucked in.
Oh yeah, it's
and
a repeat of the opening. Scene.
Yeah. So mom's tucking her in. They're talking back and forth. You hear the guy from downstairs, "Hey, where's the bourbon?" And then they keep talking, and suddenly Freddy comes out and says, "I said, where's the bourbon?" And he, chops her head off and holds her up, and she says something.
Yeah, she says something like, "Why are you always in the way when I try to bring men over? I just made it. I want to get laid."
We get more of that doodle-a-doo, 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 right? Feathers coming down, and suddenly we're in an alley outside of a bar, and this is Taryn. And Taryn's she's a biker with the mohawk and
Smoke show.
The smoke show, yes. And so Freddy approaches her. She takes out 2 switchblades. We have a little bit of a nice knife battle, the tiniest of knife battles.
Yeah.
I think she pokes him like once.
Yeah.
And either he really is hurt or he acts like he's hurt. I don't know. He holds up his hands, but they're no longer.
That's right. It's like, why are we fighting? We could just get high.
Right. He plunges her with his hands of green heroin. I don't even know what it was.
Yeah, whatever it is.
And she kind of withers away and dies. And that was really it.
Yeah, we don't see what actually happens.
So I wanted a huge fight scene.
What a rush.
What a rush.
What a rush.
I wanted a big fight scene. I wanted something more grand. I wanted her maybe jumping around, maybe barely escaping, right? And then that can be that scene. But instead, she just dies, and that was it. So that was kind of lame.
Yeah. And then it jumps to Will, right?
Will.
They kind of rushed.
He didn't even get a damn set. He got a hallway.
So Will is exploring a hallway in his. Is he even in his wizard outfit? He's not in his wizard outfit.
He does it the very last.
He's walking around. He gets confronted by his chair, but it's now like a giant Iron Maiden type chair of
it's
some
got
sort.
spikes and everything.
Right. So Freddy basically rolls the chair at him. He dives down, and then when he comes back up, he's a wizard.
Yeah, I think he gets cut in the leg, and he's like, "Oh, what are you tired?" And then he's like, "That's right, I'm a wizard."
I'm a wizard.
Yeah.
And
It's got
then
that famous 1980s electricity sort of special effect that they used to have in every movie. It's been Back to the Future. It's in Explorers. It's
Ghostbusters.
in E.T.
Ghostbusters, yeah.
It's in every movie in the mid 1980s. They're like, that's the effect. Get that effect in there. But in this case, it's green, not blue.
and that's basically it, right?
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
zaps Freddy once. Freddy goes, "Ooh," and then kills him.
I wanted more of this
Fairy
wizard.
tales.
I wanted more of this wizard.
Yeah, why don't any of these characters have any ability to actually slow Freddy down or cause him? I would appreciate even if it was just what this movie gives us, which is these are different scenes where Freddy has isolated these characters and is one by one killing them off. But if at least one of the characters caused damage to Freddy in a way that slowed him down enough in a later scene, the way that in Terminator 2, there's a scene right where he you could see that he's glitching towards the end. I'm talking about the T-1000. He is physically glitching towards the end, which you could potentially say that's the reason why they were able to defeat him. That's one reason that he was slowing down. He was glitching a little bit, just ever so slightly, that he was able to be defeated. That would be nice to have something like that for Freddy in these scenes, because basically there's no negative effect to him from any of these characters, even though they have powers that have been well established up until now.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Even if they were killed off, but still did something to him that was lasting an effect on him, that would be nice. But yeah, it's just I feel like they just kind of built these characters up and then kind of threw them all away at the very end. I'm not happy about it. I got to tell you. So after that, we go back to Nancy and Kristen, who are kind of exploring the house. They kind of come together and they hear crashing from outside, and then in comes Kincaid, crashes through the wall. So they're all reunited, and then a door appears.
It's a door.
Right, a door appears in the middle of the room, and they all stare at it. They're staring at this door. It's a door that just appeared. A door.
It's a door.
Right. We've all seen doors before.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Right. And then,
wait, yes, it does.
And then, just in case you weren't watching the movie, they say, "It's a door. Look at the door. It's a door."
In slow motion, they go, "A door."
It's
After
a door.
at least 10 seconds of you very
Staring
clearly
at the door.
realizing that you're looking at a door.
Yeah. Yeah, they figured it out about 3.5 minutes after I figured it out. It's a door. Okay.
Yeah. That ate up more time than some of their death scenes.
Sure. I know we spent as much time with the door than we did with the wizard.
Oh my God, we did though.
So the door opens, they walk inside, and then there's a spiral staircase going down to hell, right? Or the boiler room. And then they stare at it for about 4.5 minutes, and they say, it's a spiral staircase.
Yeah,
Yes.
they sure do.
They're spelling it out for us. Come on. We need
No,
that exposition dump.
So meanwhile, in the junkyard, right? Did we go to the junkyard yet?
We were there, and then I think we're at Junkyard
Gordon's there.
Part 2.
Oh, wait. Oh, no. This is where they go to the junkyard.
Oh.
So Gordon and Nancy's dad go to a junkyard, okay, and they start exploring around. They open up a trunk to one of the vehicles there, and they find a bag of bones.
Yep.
Right? So that's going on.
Just a random one, right? Like they just open up any trunk and there's a bag.
Yeah,
of
how do they know it's there?
Well, the dad's like, it's in there. It's in the catalog.
Oh.
I feel it's in. Oh yeah, because he
Yeah, 'cause he
was
put it
one
there.
of the people. Okay, so that does make sense. Then.
Okay, yeah.
Chronologically,
Yeah.
that makes sense because he was one of the parents of the kids that are being attacked in the first one, who killed and were a part of the I want to say assassination of Freddy Krueger's original life.
Yeah.
Ah,
That does make sense that he would know where it is.
got it.
It's in the red car. It's in the
Hell
red
yeah.
car that looks like
Now we're
Christine.
fucking cooking.
It's over
Yeah.
there.
So we go back to Nancy, Kincaid, Kristen, kind of wandering around in this. They go down the spiral staircase. They come out and they see Joey. Joey is still tied to those posts over the giant hole with the fire below, right? And she says, "Let him go, Krueger." And Krueger says, "Your wish is my command." And the tongues start letting go, and he starts falling down.
Yes, very bad choice of words.
So Kristen fights Freddy with her acrobatics ability. Kincaid, the barbarian, grabs that giant whatever it was and starts beating Freddy down. And if it sounds like I'm just going over this really quickly, this is just how the movie is.
Yeah, he's taking longer to say what happens than what happens.
Yeah.
So while this is going on, what's her face is grabbing onto Joey, who is Nancy.
Yeah.
And then as he's starting to slip, Kincaid comes and grabs and pulls him up, and then they're all there. And then we go. Oh, there was one thing that I skipped. So Nancy says, "Oh, he's stronger than before." And then Freddy goes, "Oh," and he rips open his shirt and you see all the souls of the children on his chest.
Ah, yes.
And he goes, "The souls of the children,
Oh my
give
gosh.
me strength."
Yes, that is brought up. It's brought up in this movie. I think it does. We reconnect with this later on.
Yeah.
But it's introduced in this one short line
Yeah.
and reveal of his chest, which has tiny little faces.
Yeah, the finale of the next one, I
looks
think.
like they're trying to get out. The
the
way
fina-
that I think it's a shot from either The Exorcist or the original Friday or the original Nightmare on Elm Street, where he's pushing his face through the wall.
Yeah, that's the first one.
That's the first Nightmare
Yeah.
on Elm Street. But but that sort of imagery is sort of like, I guess there's a dualism there with you see it coming out of his body now, but these are the people trying to escape from him.
Interesting. I like that you said it that way. I would have never thought of that. I always imagined the Evil Dead 2 monster at the very end when all the little souls are coming out of the.
Oh, yeah.
We've won! Victory is ours!
Yeah,
And
yeah, very similar.
I always thought of that. So yeah, they save Joey, and then we go back to the junkyard. Nancy's dad and Gordon are trapped in the junkyard. All the cars kind of pile up around them.
Yeah.
And they're stuck there. And then Freddy emerges from the bag of bones. Basically, speaking of Evil Dead,
Oh, that's right. Because they actually like start to put him in his like resting
they
place.
start digging a hole, but Freddy emerges as a skeleton. Oh, that's what happens. He just disappears from the dream world.
Oh, that's right,
Because he
yeah.
has to go to the physical world to his actual body.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to be pulled to the dream world. I mean, from the dream world to the real world. He can just go there and like, I guess, inhabit his old body.
Somehow, yeah.
Sure.
Bones.
Yeah,
His bones. Yeah,
yes.
there's bones. Yeah. So we get treated to I'm not knocking this, by the way. I think I always like these good practical effects, especially like I don't mind this, the stop animation.
Oh, yeah, it's very
Harryhausen.
Harryhausen.
Yeah, it looks nice. It looks good. And there's a few chilling shots of him with the way his bones look. Like, you know, I think it looks pretty menacing in some scenes. So the bones of Freddy knocks out Gordon, and does it kill the dad? It does it. It throws the dad up again, impales him on some sort of rod that's sticking out of the cars. It knocks out Gordon, shovels a couple of spoonfuls of dirt onto him, revels in his victory, and then falls down. And that was that. It's like, come on, Freddy, could you finish your job?
Seriously.
How are you doing on time, by the way?
I've got to go.
Okay. Any last thoughts about the movie before you go?
Last thoughts is the scene with Phillip, the marionette, just to reiterate, still going to be my favorite scene. Still, I think they're just the best. I know that there's problems with all these scenes. There's problems with every movie. But it's just, I don't know why. When I think of A Nightmare on Elm Street, the series as a whole, this scene pops into my head, and it does play the way that I remember it, right? Mm-hmm. With the similar sort of, now at this point, now that I've just watched it, it is I think it's the most memorable scene in the movie, and for that reason, maybe just for that reason, it's my favorite of the whole.
I ain't hating. It's a good scene.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I like it. And I want to go actually rewatch it because I was drunk when I watched it today.
We may have had a few. Remember when I said
I sobered up while we were on.
Do you remember when I said that we had to spend a lot of time pausing the movie and rewinding the movie, and we might have been drinking a bit while watching this.
Maybe just a lot. But okay, I'll hand this over to complete the podcast. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys both later. Thank you.
All right,
Later.
Thank you, John, for stopping by. We'll scoot that chair over.
Yeah.
And then there were two.
We keep losing them.
We just keep losing them. So I'm still Kenny. This is still Devin. But we have lost Daniel, and then we lost John. That's kind of a collective fault of ours, though. We took a long time to watch that movie.
We did a lot of. We had fun. And then there was a lot of commentary and speculation and contemplation and yeah, let's knock this thing out.
Let's knock it out. Let's keep going. So, Freddy just knocked out Dr. Gordon, killed the dad, and now he goes back into the dream world. So we go back to Kristen, Kincaid, Joey, and Nancy. Yeah. Joey's now saved.
Yes.
They're walking through a room of mirrors, and that's where Freddy appears and pulls them all into the mirrors.
Yeah, he starts pulling all of them one by one into the mirror, and then Joey's left by himself.
That's right. And Joey uses his voice for the very first time and screams. He's a siren.
Yeah, he's a banshee.
He's the siren of the group.
Yeah.
Or the bard.
Or the there you go. I like that. Yeah,
he screams, breaking all the mirrors, and out comes all of his friends, and basically they tell him, you found your power.
Yeah.
You can use your voice.
Saved us.
So that was very nice. Also, in this moment, we get some twinkling lights, and then down comes Nancy's dad.
Yeah.
And he basically says, I've gone to the other side.
Yeah.
And Nancy goes, gone to the other side? What do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean? I died, Nancy. Died? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, she needs someone to tell him, it's a door.
I know.
Your dad's dead.
I was impaled physically by a car, and it ruptured my organs, causing me to bleed out, and I died.
That's what Nancy needed right about now. So,
pretty much.
They embrace, and then it turns out that it wasn't her dad at all.
Yeah.
It was Freddy.
Yeah.
And Freddy stabs her. So that's the end of our main character from the first movie.
Almost, yeah.
I forgot she died in this movie.
Wow. Well, and again, it's one of those scenes where it's like the whole being like, oh, I crossed over is completely unnecessary. It's like, Freddy, they weren't there, dude. You could have just been like, Nancy, I'm so glad you're here. That was unnecessary. We didn't need, I crossed over. It's like, no one was, you were the only one, dumbass.
You're the only one who didn't get it.
It's like, okay, anyway.
So this is a totally anticlimactic death.
Yeah.
In a movie so far where the whole finale has been a bunch of anticlimactic deaths.
Yeah.
So I forgot she had died in this movie. I really did. I thought Nancy was going to be, she's not in the rest of the movies, but she lives. No, she dies.
Yeah, she gets stabbed very casually.
So meanwhile, up at up in the dream, the real world.
Yeah.
What's his name? Bill Maher is still alive.
Yeah, Bill Maher wakes
he
up.
He splashes some holy water. I like this effect, by the way.
Yeah.
He splashes some holy water onto the bones, and then inside the dream world, he has those lights who shine out from his body.
Oh, that's right. And then he does like the whole prayer, and then he puts the cross in the grave, and then
On his forehead.
yeah, and then
then
Freddy's doing
lights
like
on his
this
forehead.
disco dance of death, where he's just like spinning it around.
That's right. He is a
La,
disco
la,
ball.
la,
That's
la, la,
right.
la. He's
Yeah.
just like, okay, how am I dying? Just spin around. Keep going. Yep, you get into
Yeah.
a groove. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, then he just explodes or something.
Yeah, or something.
Or something.
So-
I don't remember actually.
Then we cut to a funeral. Right?
One more
It's
funeral.
Nancy's funeral.
This is our 7th funeral, by the way.
Nancy's funeral. And Gordon, Dr. Gordon turns to see the nun walking away. And then she kind of hides
Yes.
behind like a gravestone.
Yeah.
He goes to see where she went, but she's gone. And the gravestone is Amanda Kruger. So that was, are we supposed to believe that was Amanda Kruger?
Yes, that is the strong suggestion that the nun was Amanda Kruger, who, yes, that thing happened. And again, if you really think about it, as much as the lore is great to say that it was 1,000 maniacs, biologically,
100 maniacs.
Whatever.
Don't get crazy with it.
sorry, I'm thinking of a band, excuse me. Yeah, biologically, it's really just one of them. So that's not, but I get it. It's a lore. It's a lore thing. You want to make it fancy. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, biologically, it would be once one sperm gets into the egg,
Yeah.
the egg locks up and it's done.
Yeah. It's one and done.
But not when it's a maniac like Devin. When it's a maniac.
Not when it's a
maniac.
maniacal.
Maniac on the floor.
Oh my goodness.
So then we get a shot of Gordon in bed going to sleep. But as he does, he's got that Freddy Krueger model house that's still there. And the light turns on.
And there's also the dream thing next to that.
He has his little dream thing because Nancy had that in her
has
house.
a dream thing that we're mentioning right now.
So that's it.
And that's it. And that's the end of the movie.
I had high hopes for this one. I've been looking forward to this one since we started this whole journey together, you and I. When I was talking about my gripes from the first one, and how I really wanted more involvement from the people dreaming, and I wanted them, like I was describing what I felt this movie. So I was looking forward even more to watching this movie, and I got to tell you, Devin, I am disappointed. It still has "Welcome to Primetime, Bitch."
Yeah,
that's a classic. That marionette scene that John likes so much, I think that's great.
As much as I can nitpick it, it's still a darn good scene.
Yeah, so many great scenes in this.
Yeah,
but I just feel like all the in between parts, like it's not fully colored in yet.
No,
this movie I don't think was done yet.
No, the structure was not great.
The ending was so quick. And we just rushed through these characters who I was waiting. I just couldn't wait to see what the wizard was going to do.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait for the badass with the mohawk. I couldn't wait for all these scenes to happen. And then when they happened, they died. And I was like, oh, that's it?
Yeah.
I remember so much more than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember this being so much better than it turned out to be. Why is that? Tell me.
I'm assuming they spent a good bunch of their budget on other things. So when it probably came to the end of the movie, I would guess that maybe they're like, oh, time crunch. Oh, we were going to, because I mean, because in my mind, like I was imagining how cool it would have been to have the wizard set be like in an actual fantasy kind of, even if it was just a castle or a dungeon or some kind of like something to really, really get the wizard in that world of like, or even if it had started that way, like you could have done it where it was just a little bit longer, where it's like it starts out in a like fantasy kind of thing and then he goes to check out a dungeon and then you get to the chair scene.
Yeah. Because
that would have made sense. It would have been like, oh wow, okay, cool. But it'd just be like, hey, it's a random hallway.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I wonder how long this movie was. I wonder if it would be more effective to just add on 10 or 15 minutes at the end or cut out 10 or 15 minutes in the middle somewhere to extend the ending. I don't know. I did feel it dragging a bit though in the middle. There was a few,
For sure.
There was a few scenes where I was like, "Oh, are we still going here? Let's wrap this up, people."
Yeah.
So
For sure.
this movie definitely, I felt the length,
Yeah.
and with the first one, I felt the length. There were a
Yeah.
few scenes that I felt were kind of a little longer than needed to be, and got a little bored. I don't remember feeling that as much in the second one. I still, I think, as of right now, after watching number 3, I think number 2 is still my favorite.
I would say of the 3, 2 had me engaged for quite a bit. This, like, again, I think I like the premise for this one more.
Mhm.
Like,
Me too.
like the idea of it is great.
Yeah.
The execution was terrible. And yeah, it's like I think there's also something to be said about the idea of having a story that's centralized around one character and a few of their friends versus having it be like, oh, there's like 10 people and we're kind of having to manage all of these people. And like, you know, like it's a little bit harder to do that well, I think. And they sort of did. And I know it's like you could say the same thing with 2, where it's like, well, there were these other characters that were, but it was all about the one character for the most part.
Yeah, we followed Jesse. Mostly.
Yeah, it was Jesse.
Yeah.
So I still like this one.
It's still good.
I mean,
I think I'd rather watch this one over the first one still.
Yeah, same here.
No.
Yeah, it's more fun.
I wonder how much of this is just me being disappointed. I was really, I really thought this one's it. This is it. And it turned out to not necessarily be, it was it for about 15 minutes. And then a couple of death scenes in the middle.
Yeah.
And then a rushed ending.
That's what it was, actually. That's, I think, what it was. It was like intro, then death scene, then like really good death scene, then another really good death scene, and then just like the end.
Yeah,
It's
the
like-
end was super rushed.
So, if anything, I'm just looking forward to the next one because I think what I wanted from this one might be in the next one.
Yeah, because you were describing, before we started, you were describing
4
as people die, one character absorbs the power of the other people. So that's kind of
4.
that's the gimmick of the next one, which is I'm interested to get to that one too.
Yeah.
I still remember liking this one more though, so I'm worried that but that's why, you know, I guess there's a reason why I don't watch this franchise as much as others.
Yeah.
Is even the ones that are good are like
Yeah. Totally.
So,
All right.
if somebody only had time to watch, let's say, 1 or 2 Nightmare on Elm Street movies, would you send them this way? Would you say, okay, well, definitely number 3?
I would. It's, you know,
Yeah.
like even if the pacing's not great, I would say, I mean, I think 2 is definitely way more intense and brutal. And
I think 2
serious.
I like 2 better. I do.
Yeah, 2 is a more serious vibe.
But if someone just wanted to watch a Nightmare on Elm Street movie to kind of get the gist of what it's all about,
This one's not,
2 might not work because it's so weird.
I
It's
think
different.
3's not bad.
I think 3 is the one so far. 3's from an outsider's perspective, from somebody who doesn't know Freddy. I think 3 is a great launching pad.
Yeah, and you also get an origin. So
And you get the origin story too. But I just think that it's not necessarily my cup of tea. It's I'm disappointed. I thought it was going to be a lot better. I didn't know how quick it was going to go.
yeah.
The good parts go too quick, and the slow parts go too slow.
Yeah.
Well,
there you go.
how about that? We watched a movie.
Yeah, we sure
All
did.
4 of us. And then there are 2.
And then there was 2.
And then there was 2. That's that. You guys, if you're enjoying this format, check out Critique Podcast. Me and a good friend of mine, God, and do something very similar to this, which is just talking about episodes of Tales from the Crypt.
Yep.
You can even see Devin on an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
1 or 2, I
Critique.
think.
Yeah, you're on a couple episodes. Yeah. And then John, who was here earlier, and Daniel, both of them were also on episodes of the Critique Podcast. So yeah, definitely go check that out if you get a chance. And don't forget about Too Bad About Kenny with the number 2, where I play video games.
Yep. It's a great channel.
How fun is that?
Yeah.
Come on now. And Devin also wants to start streaming and doing some YouTube stuff.
Yes.
So he doesn't have the channel set up yet, However, if you're watching from the future and you're curious, just scroll down a couple whatevers and look down in the description below, and by the time he gets his thing set up, I'll update the description below to have a link to Devin's channel. So
this is where it started.
This is where it all started. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Until we get to our next movie, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. Woo! Sweet Nightmare.
Too bad about Kenny, huh? Life in the big city.